Hi class, and welcome to this video for Year 12 Business Management. This video is part of Unit 3 Outcome 3, which is all about operations management. This is our first video on strategies that are designed to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations. We're looking at our fourth key knowledge point here, and this is all about how technology can be used to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations management. If we look at our study design key knowledge point, you can see it is wordier. We are again looking at the strategies to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of operations. And we're going to spend a bit of time before we go through them thinking about what efficiency and effectiveness is. And we're going to then focus on technology and specifically 6 strategies that a business could adopt that should theoretically increase the efficiency and effectiveness of their operations. These slides are particularly going to focus on automated production line, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, and online services. Doesn't mean that artificial intelligence and robotics are not important. They are. They are actually new to our study design, and we'll have a chat about them at the end. Now, before we go through each of these strategies, let's give us a bit of a summary. Operations is all about how a business turns their inputs into outputs by using lots of activities or processes. So we have the IPO. These are, remember, our elements of operations. These strategies should improve the efficiency and effectiveness, and I want you to think of these as different things. When I think of efficiency, I think of things being the processes or this system being very quick, there being no wastage, because we are being very efficient. There is no waste, there is no time lost. Whereas effectiveness, I think a little bit more around, are we doing it with quality? And are we doing it so we are achieving our business objectives? And we'll talk about this quite a lot, but I do want you to start to get an understanding that these are different. These strategies potentially could make us have less waste and be quicker, have no loss of time and energy, and hence we are being efficient. And these strategies should help us be effective because it's helping us achieve our business objectives, which might involve quality. Now let's dive into what technology is and what these strategies are. When we refer to technology, we are not always talking about these big technology computers and all of those sorts of things. Technology is just any tool used by a business to assist in the designing, producing, and selling of a goods or service. So it doesn't have to be overly technically impressive. It's just any tool. But we do recognize that technological development has gone in leaps and bounds. And this is helping lots of businesses perform tasks and create products in much more advanced ways and in much greater number. And in today's high-tech, internationally competitive world, businesses that acquire and effectively use up-to-date technology are going to optimize potentially their operations. And hence, it is a key strategy of operations managers to adopt technology. Doesn't mean that it's all good. There are disadvantages that we're going to go through as well. But I do want us to understand technology has changed the way business is run and has changed the way how operations is run. There are lots of different types of technology and different strategies. And we're going to go through first automation, and then we will discuss computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing. We will think about also website development or online services. And there is also things like customer relationship management, which we'll touch on as well. Firstly, let's think about this concept of automation, something that has changed the way business is run. Automation is simply any strategy that in a business that involves replacing human activity with machines and technology. Now, automation is widely used in the modern manufacturing operation system because automation allows repetitive tasks to be completed by machines and not humans. And if you think about the factories of 100 years ago, they were full of people doing repetitive tasks, mainly potentially even mind-numbingly boring repetitive tasks. Use your hammer to hit one screw as the product passes you on the production line. This is now done by technology. And if we go to the nth degree, the extreme example, we come to our first strategy, which is an automated production line. This involves a process, so the activity, where the raw materials inputs enter an assembly line and finished products outputs leave, but importantly, with little or no human intervention. In an automated production line, machinery, a different series of workstations, add the parts or components in a predetermined sequence. It's not people, it's machines. These workstations are essentially on a conveyor belt or something similar and linked by a transfer system. So even more machines are doing that. You can see no or little human intervention. And it is computers, not people, that control the timing, the movement, the sequencing, and essentially everything around the materials and parts to ensure the production occurs efficiently, so quickly without waste. Examples of this include Australia Post of how your letter gets sorted, and you can Google lots of businesses that do this. I encourage you to look at some YouTube videos of different products being made to see the automated production line. Not many people, but lots and lots of machines. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? For each strategy that we do, we would need to think about the good and the bad. Now, the strengths include things like there will be increased speed of production. There is greater productivity possible because machines are faster, they don't get tired. And while means people lose their jobs, as a business, this means we have a reduction in a large cost, which is labor, which is one of the biggest expenses. Now, we have talked about how machines can do things with greater precision and accuracy. They're less prone to human error, and this can minimize waste, which should increase our efficiency. Remember, we've talked efficiency and effectiveness are different. Now, having a consistent and improved quality of the final product, because machines are accurate, should increase our effectiveness. And that's at least how I think about it. This also means it's not all bad for people. It means people do not have to do the dangerous or boring repetitive tasks. And automation has allowed mass production possible. Economies of scale. This means we can make the goods and services that 7 billion people in our small globe need. Now, there are weaknesses or disadvantages. These questions are prone to discuss and evaluate types of questions. Technology is expensive. It has very high setup costs, often requiring significant capital, millions of dollars. It does involve typically redundancies and removal of employment possibilities. And that is a corporate social responsibility impact as well. One of our last key knowledge points in this outcome. Machines and systems require ongoing maintenance, which can be costly, and it might need us to train and upskill staff. Systems which encode machines can be exposed to threats from hackers and viruses. And something that we often don't consider as a disadvantage, as technology advancements is going so quickly, this can actually limit the lifespan of these systems, which means we have to continually upgrade them to keep a competitive advantage, which means we might continually need to pay high costs. Now, if we start to think about some other strategies, we're now going to think about computers and how they can help us in the design and production process. Our first strategy is called computer-aided design. This refers to the use of computer programs to prepare product designs. So actually design the product, not make it, design it. This can then be reviewed, evaluated, and modified without the need to actually build a prototype. You're using a computer to design the product and test it, just like we are doing here for a car. A computer-aided design allows us lots of things. It's very advanced these days. It allows us to do 3D diagrams, have an accurate prediction of what the output will actually look like. It gives us really accurate cost analysis, which allows us to recognize if it's going to be worth our while doing it and work out the price that we should set. And it allows really precise customization. An example I use in my classroom is an architect can use this to tweak designs and show their clients what the house that they're ultimately going to build will look like. And this can make it much faster. And if we add computer-aided manufacturing is the doing of it, this means that we might use computer software to control the machines, tools, and equipment during the actual manufacturing process. And remember, the process is the activity of turning the inputs into outputs after the design has been completed. Now you can see your quilt has an example here, but I encourage you to look at lots of different factories where you see computers are controlling the machines. And if we add these together, we have something called computer integrated manufacturing. And this is where we use CAD, computer-aided design, and computer-aided manufacturing to get computer integrated manufacturing. This is where CAD and CAM work together, and when this occurs, essentially the entire production process is controlled by a computer. When this is used, computer designs made by CAD are used in the CAM software to direct the machinery to make this. And you might look up Rip Curl as an example, but lots of businesses do this. So what are the advantages? Very similar to automated production line. Much greater speed of production and hence greater productivity. We reduce the labor costs because computers are doing this, not humans. The computers are more precise and accurate, and it allows a more consistent and improved quality of product. This means efficiency is enhanced because they can do things quicker. Some newer advantages is this gives us more flexibility, particularly in the design, because we don't need to build expensive prototypes. We can tweak it. We can even test it or stress test it to see how our design will go against harsh conditions without having to build the prototype and destroy it. What are the weaknesses? It is very expensive to introduce. It may lead to lots of loss of jobs or redundancies. It again requires a lot of maintenance and training, is exposed to threats from hackers and viruses. And again, this technology advancing so quickly, it can become obsolete and is often very expensive to upgrade. And also something we don't think about is breakdowns can essentially shut down the entire system, particularly if we're doing computer integrated manufacturing where the entire process is being run by computers. We now move on to our next strategy, which is about online. And in our study design, we now call it online services. We are going to focus on a few ways businesses are using technology, in particular going online, to help their business achieve their objectives. Some ways that they are doing this is through e-commerce, and this refers to the buying and selling of goods over the internet. It's an old data, and COVID has meant this has increased even more, but online sales are a massive part of business, and they are growing so much faster than the traditional sales in stores. Websites can also not only be used to drive sales, but online services can also be a way that the business can be really accessible and visible to their customers. It can be a really important way that businesses can communicate key information. They can allow for fast ordering of the raw materials. They can create portals where suppliers and customers can communicate and have their questions answered. And ultimately, it improves the efficiency and effectiveness of the entire business. These slides are a little bit out of date, but I do want you to consider how much online services are crucial to a business now. And doing this well is so important. And if we do this really well, the strengths are that we can reach our customers around the world at any time, 24/7, expanding the market. It can increase our sales, and it also allows us to track customer behavior and ultimately provide goods and services and a customer experience that meets their needs more. It can reduce marketing costs because we have lots of information, and can facilitate much easier and targeted and more effective communication. And it means that maybe businesses don't need to spend lots of money on these very expensive, what we call bricks and mortar businesses, which are the physical shops. What are the weaknesses? It can be very expensive to pay for this design and maintenance. It means that we expose our customers to the risk of fraud or theft of their identity. And this is a reputational issue for businesses, and we will have to spend lots of money to make sure it is secure. And protecting this information can create lots of costs. What do I want us to think when we think about technology? Technology is vital to businesses. It can help us be more efficient, be more effective, and ultimately gain a competitive advantage. And that is the end of our video or slides, but I do want you to consider that robotics, so the use of robots, is a strategy in our turning inputs into outputs. I think of it as very similar to being part of the automated production line. And artificial intelligence is something that everyone is wrestling with at the moment, which has lots of advantages and disadvantages. And I do want you to consider those and maybe look at some textbooks that I have uploaded from my class to get an understanding of those. But for now, I hope that you have become appreciative of how there are lots of strategies related to technology that can be used to improve both the efficiency and effectiveness of our business operations.